Hi, I'm Dee Dee Rasmussen, broker at Gambler Real Estate. I've been a realtor for over a decade and I service the Metro North Atlanta area. When shopping for a home, there is an element of preparation before you actually begin to go out there and look at homes. So the first and most important thing is finding an agent. Sure, you probably know an agent or 2 or 10. It seems like everybody's a realtor, from your hairdresser to your dry cleaner to your cousin. So who do you fit best with when it comes to looking for a realtor? You want a realtor that you know is a good fit for you because you want to make sure that you're both on the same page. A realtor is also helpful through all the contracts. There is pages and pages when it comes to purchasing a home on that contract, and a realtor is trained to understand that contract. No, we're not attorneys. An attorney is still an important part of this process. However, we're there to navigate, to put that contract together, to make sure it is 100% fair to you and that you are getting everything you need out of that contract. Negotiations can be tricky, so have a professional realtor in your court, because when you're negotiating, emotions get in the way a lot of the times, and then you end up just stalling and not getting, everybody's unhappy, you're not getting what you need, or even worse, you may not even get the home because emotions got too fired up and now the seller no longer wants to work with you. As a realtor, we pay attention to details. The details in the contract, things from the disclosures, what are the seller disclosing, what's important in the disclosures, what's maybe missing from the disclosures. A good realtor will inform you about any fees associated with a potential HOA. A good agent will also help you avoid closing problems. There can be issues that turn up on the title. There can be issues where the seller needs some time after. Those are all things that can be negotiated with a good realtor to ensure a smooth closing process. Your financials should be in good health. You want to make sure that your credit score is optimal, because a good credit score will also lead to a really good interest rate. The less debts you have, or the less payments you have, will be better for you in terms of your purchasing power when going to look for a home. Review your spending. Maybe there's things in your budget that just can be eliminated while you're on the house hunt. Just getting a coffee from Starbucks could be about $6, $7 each coffee, which could amount to about $2,500 a year. Could you imagine how far that $2,500 will go when it comes to saving for a down payment? Check your credit score. A lot of the times we think that our credit's good, but it actually isn't where we want it to be. The lenders also use a very complicated credit score, one that looks into more details than the ones that FICO score that we can see on our end. What exactly do you want in a home? Sometimes the amount of bedrooms is important, sometimes the location, sometimes things that you can't change, like a pool, is important. So don't constrict yourself to things that you want, but focus on what you actually need from the home. So after you've selected your realtor, the best way to start is, a lot of the times, is going to an open house. This you can do with or without your realtor. Going to the open houses with your agent, however, be able to guide you through the home and point out some things that you may not notice. I know I find myself looking up a lot. I always want to see what's the ceilings doing. Is the roof leaking? Nobody's looking up at the ceiling but your realtor. Working with a realtor is not just limiting to the open house. Working with a realtor will actually be able to get you scheduled appointments on your convenience, on your schedule, to get you into these homes. So there it is, you found the perfect house. Now it's time to make an offer. So as your realtor, we'll navigate that contract for you, make sure everything is in the right place and that contract is solid for presentation to the seller. As your agent, we also will present your offer to the seller. We'll keep emotions at minimum, but we're always looking out for your best interest. So now it's time for the home inspection. We're going through a due diligence period, and we're probably going to have some contingencies unless you're a cash buyer. For the home inspection, I have a list that I can provide you with of inspectors that have been vetted and used and qualified to do a good job for you. However, you can use whatever inspector you want. After we have the home inspection, now it may be time for a renegotiation. Hopefully your house is perfect, but we don't live in a perfect world, so more than likely there's going to be a few things that may need to be repaired or addressed before you close on this home. Congratulations, we've passed through the inspection period and now we're ready to move on to closing. Now it's time to schedule your move. As your agent, we also have a transaction coordinator that helps through the process to make sure that all your check boxes are ticked off for what you need to do. Hooking up utilities, maybe you need a fence for your pet, so you need to set up a contractor. I have all the connections for you so we can make it as seamless and smooth for you to move into your new home. So closing is the final step. As a buyer, you do have some closing costs expenses. If you get a loan, there will be loan fees. If you're a cash buyer, your fees are limited to just the title fees. Closing is a happy time, but it can also be a stressful time. As your agent, I want to make sure that you are happy at the closing table. We're going to do a walkthrough before we show up at the closing table to make sure the home is exactly how you remembered it, if not better, hopefully. Being at closing is a pretty easy process. It's going to be me, you, the seller, and then the seller's agent, as well as the title attorney. So it's a pretty easy process. It lasts about an hour, and at the end of that hour, you get some snacks and you get keys to your brand new home. When is the right time to buy? Are the interest rates too high? Is inventory too low? Combination of both? The right time to buy is when you're ready to buy. There may be things going on in your life that you need to buy a home right now, regardless of interest rates or inventory. Now, that being said, a lot of the times people wait for the pricing to come down. But I can tell you historically, our pricing, real estate's like a roller coaster, goes up and down, but it tends to continue to go up. I can tell you right now that there's no way I'm buying a house at the same price that my grandmother bought a house. At the end of the day, our market is cyclical, but if you need a home to live in, you're either paying your own mortgage and working up equity towards your house, or you're paying your landlord's mortgage and making him rich.